Spanish culture, even though I'm not from that culture. Kids that I grew up with used to make fun of me because of the Puerto Rican heritage that I grew up with, even though my grandfather didn't have to immigrate. That's my immigration story.
I was born in Greensboro, North Carolina, so originally from here. A lot of my ancestors immigrated from Ireland, which, that story, they weren't very accepted when they immigrated. And also, I have a great-great-grandmother that was on the Trail of Tears. She's a Cherokee Indian. So she walked through the Trail of Tears from North Carolina, Oklahoma. And then just throughout the past 2 years, I've worked a lot with immigrants from mostly Mexico, but all throughout South America.
Some of my great-grandparents were from Germany. They were religious. They were persecuted for their religion. They were Protestants in Germany. And they came here and they lived in a community in Pennsylvania where Benjamin Franklin said, the Germans are overrunning. They would just have us all speak their language, and they want us to adopt their German customs. We need to stand our ground and establish English customs for the colonies. That was one side. Another were Irish, and I'm pretty sure were indentured servants who came here to work their way to freedom.
My immigration story is that I was born in Delaware, and I know somewhere back in my family that I have Irish and English heritage. I think part of my family came over with many people from Ireland as a result of the famine in the 19th century. But I think a big part of my immigration story is that I was raised completely without thinking about it, just without even knowing. And even still, I have a lot of questions. There's a lot that I don't know about my family heritage. And I have I guess it's a privilege in this country that I'm not forced to deal with that. People don't question my belonging in the community in the way that they do for others. And so that's my immigration.
My immigration story is I was born in Japan and I came to the U.S. when I was 4. I became a U.S. citizen in my late 20s, and my immigration experience was completely fine. I didn't have any troubles from the government. It was all a very easy process. But what I've heard from being in this group is that for a lot of people, the immigration, being an immigrant and being treated as an immigrant is a very dehumanizing process. And that right now in America, the fight about immigration is so ideological, and it doesn't get into the humanity, the common humanity of citizens and immigrants.
I was born and raised in the United States. I have one grandfather that he immigrated to the United States when he was 24, and he had survived the World War II. He was born and raised in Poland, and he was Jewish. I have another grandfather who is Christian and immigrated to the United States when he was 12 with his family. I grew up with immigrants in my family, and just because of the strength of the many immigrants in my family, I kind of grew up enamored with immigrants, kind of romanticizing, the strength that they must have had, and the kind of personal battles they fought, and whether that influenced my own choices in life or not, I'll never know. But right now, I stayed in the United States through college, and after college, I moved to Japan. I've been living over there for about 10 years, and I plan to stay there. And my experience there, being someone who loves the country and wants to stay in the country, yet who is seen as someone who doesn't necessarily belong there, or someone who isn't expected to understand what's going on there, has been a very frustrating experience for me. So, as much as I've had positive experiences in a new country that I love, those are balanced out by a lot of other experiences
all got a letter from the president saying, "Welcome to America." You know, after a lot of tears and, you know, the laughter did come, and no, it wasn't that bad, but this is my country. I mean, this is all I know now. I have gone back since because I still have family there, and it does feel like my motherland when I'm there, because I remember everything from when I was a kid and the places that I used to go to and how free I felt. I've never felt, and you know, talk about prejudice or anything, maybe because when you're in Poland, everybody's Polish, so I never grew up knowing anything about someone being prejudiced, or there was just nothing like that, or everybody's pretty much Catholic, again, so there was no religious prejudice or anything. So it was a very eye-opening experience for me.